Hey, church leaders. Welcome to the one. Hey, church leaders. Welcome to the 101 video on why should I keep score. I don't know about y'all. I grew up playing sports, which makes you a very competitive person. And I always wanted to know what the score was. Always, at all times. It doesn't matter if we're playing Candyland, if we are packing boxes for some drive, or if we are at work or playing kickball. I want to know what the score is. People are used to scoreboards all the time. I mean, even the Georgia G on my chest, go dogs, is all the love is all centered around a scoreboard. So scoreboards are everywhere, and I believe that scoreboards and keeping score should be a massive part of your marketing plan and of your season serving in the marketing world, preparing for Connect camps. I mean, if you think back to the reason why you're hosting Connect camps in your community, it's because you want to see families from your community get involved in the life of your local church. And how will you know how you're doing if you don't keep track of how many of those families have registered for camp? How will you know if what you're doing is effective if you don't know the number of unchurched families are coming to camp? How will you know? You won't know. That's the question. Let me tell you about this 124 that's been over my head in all of these videos. That 124 represents a scoreboard that defined 3-year season of my life. My first role at Connect was serving on the summer staff team, and I absolutely loved it. I was super involved in college ministry whenever I was in school at the University of Georgia. And so right out of college, I was like, I want to work with college students and I want to do that with Connect Ministries. And as you know, we have some of the best leaders, I may be a little biased, from across the country come to your communities as summer staff. And so my role was to meet those, interview them, and hire them to go on the road with Connect camps over the summer. And the last summer that I worked camp, we needed 123 summer staff to join our Connect Camps team. And I was a team of one at that time. And I had some other people from the team who would kind of come in and assist, and some interns and apprentices, but it was under my leadership. And there was really high highs, some really low lows. But then through a lot of hard work, I got to see a picture of all 124 of our summer staff. And I didn't know if it was possible. I knew that it wasn't possible on my own. There was a lot of people that helped, but the Lord provided, and I kept track of that scoreboard for a whole year. And while we only needed 123 summer staff, the Lord sent 124 summer staff to serve with us over the summer. And it was awesome. And I keep this picture and that number on the board because that was a scoreboard that I worked for, and it's a way that the Lord provided in keeping score. We know it's not always about the numbers. A lot of ministry leaders can get caught up and discouraged sometimes by just looking at the numbers. It's not all about that. But what's cool about that 124, and as I look at this picture, there are people in this picture that are now church leaders, that are lawyers, that are doctors, that are engineers. Just looking at the faces, there are teachers, youth pastors, children's pastors, university students, seminary students. There's people who work at Connect. There's people who work at your church, maybe even, that are in this picture right here. And so while score is never going to tell the full story, it is a way that we can quantify the work that the Lord is doing in the communities that we work on. And so some things that keeping a clear score, which this is our goal tracker for you to fill in your goals for each of the different areas. This is our goal tracker. It's in your community resource folder, and your home office contact will be walking you through how to fill that out. So the reason why we would keep the score is, first, like, we want to know how we're doing. Like, we built a plan. Steps 1 and 2 are preparing us to build a plan for the marketing coordinator process. Steps 3, 4, and 5 are us building the plan. But as we get into steps 6, 7, and 8, We really need to know how we're doing so that we can go back in and adjust the plan or keep running the plan because the plan's producing great results, or add to the plan because we're not as far along as we want to. We're not going to know that if we don't keep the score. So it helps you evaluate and analyze what you're trying to do. The second thing that keeping a score can help you do is celebrate. Have you ever felt like you're on a hamster wheel? I've felt like I'm on a hamster wheel before, just running, round, and I'm really, really busy. I'm not even sure what I'm doing. In a certain season that I'm thinking back onto, I wasn't sure what I was doing. And that was exhausting and discouraging because I didn't take the time to celebrate progress. If you've been around Connect Camps for a while, you've heard of the analogy of a flywheel. And the first couple of pushes on a flywheel are really, really challenging. But once you get that flywheel start turning and more people are pushing on that flywheel to get it turning really fast, it's much easier to push on the flywheel and you start experiencing momentum. Whenever you keep score, you'll be able to start identifying when you're getting momentum. And that is a contagious feeling. I mean, think about it. When you start, experiencing what it's like for a family who came to Connect Camps for the first time, entering the walls of your church, come back to your church. Think of what that feeling has felt like if you've been around for a while, or will feel like. That's contagious. And once you get the taste of it once, you're going to work really hard to feel it again, because it's the embodiment of what you were called to do. And so one reason why would keep score is so that we can celebrate along the way. But we won't know what to celebrate if we don't have a clear goal and we don't update our people along the way as we start to check off these pennant flags or make progress towards our goal. So how do we do that? Well, there's two ways you can do it. One is you need to go ahead and set your goals. If you haven't done that already with your home office contact, I'd recommend bringing that up in your next host call. You want to have a goal around each of these areas and have different people on your team own. Okay, I got the camper one. I'm going to update our team every week. I'd have a group message to just say, hey, like this every Monday, you need to send your update on your area. And that will help create some momentum around there. So fill out this, track alongside, print it off, color it in on your desk, give everybody one for them to color on, put it on their fridge, all the things. Another way we can do this is on your benchmarks page of your marketing plan. You just type in your goal right here. Maybe your goal is 400. Then you know where you should be every single week of the year. So if I'm in week 2 on March 9th, I need to be at 160 campers. Say we're at 155. What do we need to do to make up that 5 camper difference? So those are the two ways that you could do that. But what I would highly recommend is setting a goal, tracking that goal every single week with multiple members of your team. And then last, think of big celebrations along the way. What if for every 10% that you get on the journey to your goal, what if your team, went out for ice cream? Or what if there was a fun cowbell that you rang every time? I know one thing that we love around Connect Camps is confetti. What if for every 10% you shot off a confetti cannon and posted that to your church staff? Or for every 10% you had some clappers that you clapped, or a cowbell, or something like that, something to celebrate along the way. What we know is that numbers aren't going to tell the whole story. They won't, but they will help us somewhat quantify the ministry that the Lord is doing in your community. And so tracking your score along the way is really important. We've given you some resources and ideas to track it along the way. And if you would like some more resources or ideas, make sure to touch base with your home office contact. They are your biggest supporter along the way, as is our Connect team. And we can't wait to celebrate the ministry that the Lord is doing through you and your team's hard work in your community through Connect Camps. Talk soon, guys. Thanks.